Back to one of the stories that developed over the last 2 hours or so. The DA Western Cape leader, Bonginkosi Madikizela, who is also the province's transport MEC, has been suspended for 2 weeks pending investigations into alleged qualification fraud. For more on this, I'm joined by the Premier of the Western Cape, that is Alan Winde. Alan, thank you so much, Premier, for talking to me. So what are the reasons you decided that the MEC should be suspended for about 14 days?
So, I believe in due process. I believe that you have to be fair and allow for a process in order to make up your mind. I noted what was raised yesterday through the media. I also had a discussion with Minister Madikizela, and I think it's only fair that he be given that space to put his side of the story. We also need to, from my side, actually show that there's a proper due process before making my mind up. That's what I believe in, and I also believe in being fair, but I also must be firm. I've made commitments to the voters of this province. I believe that, these things must be tested. I believe in integrity and honesty. So we have to test them and have to follow that due process. So
what exactly are you testing, though, Premier? Because he has confirmed that he doesn't have the BCom degree that is reflected in his CV and his profile.
So I don't want to get into the substance of what the investigation is going to, bring out. But you need to be able to, even though he's taken responsibility, that's fine. But you also need to be able to get to the full story so that you can actually decide what the sanction is.
I guess I'm not asking you to get into the details. I would like you to frame for me what the question is that you would like to have answered in your mind, because I think we can eliminate this question around whether or not he has a BCom degree as written on his profile. But what is it exactly? Is it the question of whether or not he lied about it initially, and the questions around his interaction with the Daily Maverick journalists?
Correct. There's all of those questions. How long it's been there, how did it get there in the first place? Whether it had incomplete next to it or not, etc. So, that really is about the details. So, I think that is only fair that he is given that opportunity in this process.
So, part of what he says in a brief note that has been forwarded is that he takes full responsibility that he, quote, didn't correct the information on his bio, didn't correct the information on his bio about the qualification. Does that make it slightly palatable that I didn't correct the information in my bio, which says I'm not responsible for it being there in the bio, but my responsibility is failure to correct it?
See, I don't want to get into whether something's more palatable or not. There needs to be this establishment of how it got there, what happened, what did you initially say, etc. That must be part of that process. And then, of course, I must apply my mind and as to, from my side, what would be that sanction.
So let's talk politics, though, and the aesthetics of it, Premier. You and I will agree that part of the reaction that's been out there, especially on social media, has suggested that this is nothing other than Bonginkosi Madikizela, a black man, being dealt with inside the DA. You're a senior DA leader as well, in addition to being Premier. What do you say to people who are perceiving this situation in that way?
I think it's very, very sad that we have to... when I believe in integrity, when I believe in due process and giving someone an opportunity, and that's why I've created this space, that it has to become a racial debate. I really think that's very sad, because it's definitely not. This is about giving Minister Bonginkosi Madikizela his opportunity and a process, because I believe in proper, fair, due process.
Why does it matter that he doesn't have the degree, the BCom degree, for political office?
Okay, well, there's no requirement in political office that you have, a qualification. That is politics and representative politics and elections are about electing people who represent the people. So, you would probably have in a caucus some people who are highly qualified, but you would also have some people who have other qualifications in their ability to represent the citizens. It is not a prerequisite at all.
Yeah, because the reason I ask you as my last question is that naturally you'll have people who juxtapose Bonkosi Madikizela's situation with that of your leader, John Steenhuisen, who doesn't have a post-matric qualification. Are the two situations comparable, or are they different in your mind?
No, because you see, as I've just said, that a degree or what kind of qualification you have is not a prerequisite to being elected to a parliament. It's also not a prerequisite to be elected to a cabinet. That it really does not. It is not part of a process to get yourself elected. Of course, it could be taken into consideration when you're putting a team together, but it is not a prerequisite whatsoever. And it's nothing that I would have used in putting my cabinet together, as a number of people serving in my cabinet have been serving with me in this cabinet for more than 2 terms. So you get to know them, you get to know the values that they add, you get to know their way of working, and what value they add to the citizens that we represent. That is what we are there for. So qualifications are not a prerequisite for any position.
All right, thank you for that. Thank you for your insights and just taking us into your confidence about your thinking around this matter of the Western Cape Transport MEC Bonkosi Madikizela. That's the Premier there, Alan Winde, talking to us about that situation.